Hi, this is Robert Rapier from R2, and this is episode 4 of R2 Energy TV. This week's episode deals with companies that could benefit from energy efficiency as well as the stack of books that are on the shelf behind me. So, first question. I'm interested in long-term investing in energy efficiency companies. Could you point me and others in the right direction in terms of industry sectors which could gain significantly from a drive for energy efficiency? I actually did answer this question by email, and the answer that I gave was I think the airline industry is one of the most susceptible to being really hurt by high oil prices and peak oil. So anyone working on improving the efficiency of the airline industry, I think there'll be a big priority there, and potentially the government also getting involved and pushing that along. Also, automotive industry, anyone working on engines, anything like that that actually improves the efficiency of car engines. I don't have specific companies, but ironically, the day after I gave that recommendation on the energy efficiency for airline industry, that was when American Airlines declared bankruptcy. And I don't think that's the last thing you'll see. I think they will emerge from bankruptcy, but some of the smaller carriers, as they did in 2008, will go out of business. It's just very hard for them to compete when oil prices are so high. Second question. I recently picked up the book Oil 101, and I noticed it is second on that stack of books behind you. I found it excellent as a reference and a go-to source, so I must ask, are the other books equally useful? That's very sharp eyes to notice that. I didn't think you could see what any of those books were. So I want to go through the books there and talk about them and whether they're recommended. So, the Oil 101 is the book that was asked about, and that's by Morgan Downey. And this is one of the most excellent reference books that I've ever come across on the oil industry in general. It's not an entry-level book. It's more, there are a lot of facts and things in there that I myself didn't know. But for somebody that doesn't know a lot about the oil industry, I'll recommend 3 books. This one, Power Trip by Amanda Little. This is from somebody who says that to her oil was a 4-letter word until she actually got out and did all this research for this book, and she learned really just how dependent we are all on oil. In the same vein, Oil on the Brain by Lisa Marginelli. It's a very good book for someone who maybe doesn't know a lot about the oil industry, but those 2 books are both very readable. And I would highly recommend it for someone that just wants to know more about the industry. Crude World by Peter Moss. That is really goes into the dark side of the oil industry. Peter Moss traveled all over the world, went to Nigeria, went into really some dangerous places to get this story. And if you want to really think about the implications of us going to the pump and filling up with gas, what it means around the world as far as corruption, as far as pollution, things like that, Peter Moss explains that very well in the book. A couple of books I haven't read yet. 1,000 Barrels a Second. I have not read that book yet. It's on my list of things to do. Also, The End of Oil. I've heard it's a very good book. I haven't read it yet, but I intend to. It's on my list. And Half Gone by Jeremy Leggett. A couple of books also that were back there are 2 that I've written chapters for that you've never seen anywhere probably. Sustainable Development in the Forest Products Industry. I contributed a chapter in that book. And this one is, I've seen it out there a little bit more. It's a David Pimentel book. I wrote the renewable diesel chapter for that book. One that I'm working my way through right now is Reinventing Fire by Amory Lovins. It's amazing to me that Amory and I can agree so much on exactly what the problem is and disagree so vehemently on how this is all going to play out. Amory is very idealistic, I would say, in his solutions. And if you go back to some of his previous books, and I think I've got Winning the Oil Endgame also over on my desk, and he was very bullish on cellulosic ethanol and has been for years, and a lot of the things I think he's predicted did not come to pass. And that's the thing I would say. I'd say it's a very good book for sketching out a future that could be, but I think it's a little on the idealistic side. The other book that I'm reading right now is called Oil's Endless Bid, and it's a book by a former oil trader who essentially lays the blame for high oil prices at the feet of all the financial investors that have come in over the years, and essentially dismisses some of the things that have gotten blamed for high oil prices. And I'm halfway through that book. I disagree with a lot of it, and I will put out a book review on that fairly soon. With that, that's all for this week, and tune in next week for episode 5. Thank you.